There was an interesting parallel between collage work and like being an immigrant kid. You know, you're taking these pieces and images from different places and kind of forcing them to live together.
Yeah.
They might not make sense. That's how different fragments of my life feel.
You have completely had a major breakthrough with owning what your story is and just telling it in such a brilliant, sort of beautiful way. How did you get to that point?
It's a pretty intense story. Like, I left home when I was 19 with 2 of my sisters, and it was not something that was easy to talk about, but over the years, it became increasingly difficult for me to not talk about it. And by chance, I started playing with collage work. And by the end of the night, I had made these pieces that I almost like didn't recognize as my own work. It was like really liberating and very playful. And I realized that, you know, I hadn't felt that way in a long time. It became very clear that like this was a medium that would make it easier to kind of talk about these things.
It's fresh, it's so cool. This is work that I haven't seen from you before.
It started with me literally taking pictures of textiles, and then I started actually using textiles, and they became more assemblages. And you know, I work with a lot of like personal archives, and as I was looking through the photos, I saw a lot of these dresses that were made with this sheer material called burnout fabric, which was popular in the 90s. And that's like a time period that I focus on a lot in my work. There's a lot of reasons why like this process and that fabric hit a lot of marks for me in this work. One of them being that women in my family would wear. There's a kind of traditional Yemeni dress called Adadir, which I found out in kind of asking other family members about it. People say that only married or engaged women should wear it, which was just another reason why I wanted to do it, because I'm focusing on adolescence and this transition from girlhood to womanhood in this body of work. The neon piece has an Arabic word on it, which is aib, and there isn't a direct translation to English, but the easiest way to translate it is the word shame. And in that piece, I have it above my face when I was about 7 years old.
So that is the image of the little girl, that's you?
That's me, yeah. And I chose that age because it's about the age when I was made to understand that my body could be shameful. You know, this is obviously like years before I'm thinking about my own body in any kind of sexualized way.
Right. It's interesting that you have that particular piece as like it's not the focal point, but it's included in this like living room setting.
I wanted to give a nod to the domestic space where these things happen, where we're being, you know, shaped, this space that is, you know, safe for us, but also these kind of contradictory things can be happening at the same time. I've just learned more and more about how people in diasporic communities develop these skills to navigate these very different worlds that we inhabit. Like, my family immigrated to Chicago, but there are women in this work who grew up in California or Michigan or New York, and our stories are so similar. You know, like their family stories could be interchangeable with mine.
Yasmine, thank you so much for letting me come check out your exhibition. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.